delivering quality education, expanding access to learning, serving learners' learning needs, tackling challenges of the present time, supporting every learner's dream, reaching young Tagumeños where they are today. From the music capital of the Philippines, advancing in the challenge of distance learning. Bringing you quality education straight to your home. Plug yourself in. This is DepEd TV. Tara na!
What a peaceful and exciting day to all grade 12 learners out there! It's time again for another meaningful learning experience here in Lantaw, Compre, our school on air through television. This is our new episode of the television-based instruction of DepEd, Division of Tagum City, featuring the creative writing, the creative works in the literary socio-political context. I am your teacher broadcaster, Teacher Sheena Marie L. Bautista from Tagum City National Comprehensive High School. Join me today in discovering few of the critical approaches which you can use to interpret literature. Some of these approaches had been discussed in the previous lessons. They had encompassed in the aspects of poetry, fiction, and drama or play. Currently, literature encompasses multidimensional aspects of the society, namely culture, beliefs, and ideology, since the literary proponents write various experiences from different contexts. This is taking into another aesthetic level the critical conversations or dialogues embracing the issues of the society. So, listen up! Ready your pen, your paper, and your self-learning module with you. This time, let us try first how much you knew about today's topic. Choose the letter of the correct answer. You will be given 5 seconds to answer. Are you all set? Then, let's begin. Question number 1. Literary pieces are being compared to what critical approach? A. Maps, B. Books, C. Lenses, D. Imaginations. The correct answer is letter C. Question number 2. Which is of least interest to a literary critic using feminism? A. Abuse, B. History, C. Slavery, D. Inequality. The correct answer is letter B. Question number 3. What general themes can be classified under the cultural approach? A. Arranged marriages, B. Inequality in society, C. View of women as objects, D. Lender-borrower, rich-poor relationship. The correct answer is letter A. Question number 4. What word has similar meaning of milieu in the study of literature? A. Plot, B. Theme, C. Context, D. Conflict. The correct answer is letter C. Question number 5. What is the similarity between Marxism and feminism as literary theories? A. Power struggles. B. Interest in history. C. Closeness to reality. D. Relationship between nations. The correct answer is letter A. Were you able to get the correct answer? If you get a perfect score, then you already have an advanced knowledge on this topic. Are you ready to learn more? But before anything else, let us have our objectives first. At the end of today's lesson, you will be able to situate a creative work in socio-political contexts, demonstrate awareness of and sensitivity to the different orientations of creative writing, and write a craft essay. Brace yourselves because here are the common critical approaches which are defined with sample literary pieces to better understand the topic. The common critical approaches in analyzing literary pieces. First, we have cultural studies. This is a multidisciplinary approach which includes the perspectives of humanistic disciplines such as literature and art, and the social and behavioral sciences such as anthropology, economics, and psychology. As a critical perspective, it contests the older definition of culture and looks not at the stable coherences of a society or a civilization's history, but its dissensions and conflicts. Here are the sample literary pieces that can be studied using cultural studies. Blue Blood of the Big Astana by Ibrahim Jubaira. Surveyors of the Liguasan Marsh by Antonio Enriquez. We Filipinos Are Mild Drinkers by Alejandro Rosas. For this approach, you may follow the sample critical question. What kind of gender identity, behavior, and attitudes are reflected in the work? Second is the new historical perspectives. This is an approach in studying literature which provides a context or background information on how literary works were perceived in their time. This approach also shows how literary works reflect ideas and attitudes of the time in which they were written. A newer approach, New Historicism, still considers the context of literary works, but this time emphasizes on analyzing historical documents with the same amount of interest afforded to the literary works to be interpreted. These are the literary pieces that can be studied using the new historical perspectives, New Historicism. First, Sambuangan, The Cult of War by Antonio R. Enriquez. Second, Spots on Their Wings by Antonio R. Enriquez. Third, Cave and Shadows by Nick Joaquin. And for the sample critical question, try to come up something like this. How do power relations reflected in the literary work manifest themselves in the cultural practices and social institutions prevalent during the time the work was written and published? Third is the Marxist perspective. This is an approach that examines literature for its reflections of how dominant elites exploit subordinate groups, how people become alienated from each other, and how middle-class values lead to the control and suppression of the working classes. It sees literature's value in promoting social and economic revolution and considers the literary work as a product in relation to the actual economic and social conditions that exist at the time of the work's composition or the time and place of the action it describes. Here are the literary pieces that can be studied using the Marxist perspectives. Progress by F. Shonel Jose. Doli by Masweta Devi. Poor Folk by Ivy Malyari. Here is the sample critical question. To what extent are the lives of the characters influenced or determined by the social, political, and economic forces? Fourth is the feminist perspective. This is an approach that typically sees literature as an arena in which to contest for power and control, and thus an agent for social transformation. Like historicism and Marxism, this approach also examines the social, economic, and cultural aspects of literary works, especially for what those works reveal about the role, position, and influence of women. These are the sample critical question for this approach. 1. What roles do men and women assume and perform, and with what consequence? 2. How are the relations between men and women, or those between members of the opposite sex, presented in the work? Next are the other genre of literature. Another genre of literature, aside from poetry, drama, and short story, are the essays. Have you ever written an autobiography before? How about writing on your embarrassing or unforgettable experience? Or your New Year's resolution as soon you came back to school from the Christmas holiday? An essay can be written by you on almost any subject, reflecting your attempts to express your experiences, ideas, and feelings about whatever topic you are writing on. An essay may be written creatively, especially the ones that are reflections of a writer's personal experience, feelings, and ideas. It uses ordinary, colloquial language and is conversational in tone and style. It considers the following acronym to make it effective. We have content, role, audience, format, and topic. There are different kinds of essays. According to Cantolar 2011, essays are classified into its content and purpose. Here are the types of essays. Speculative. This type needs to explore ideas and feelings. It is less organized, less authoritative, and less insistent in its presentation, for it simply projects the mind of the writer. Argumentative. This essay presents claims and ideas in a straightforward manner. Its main intent is to establish a point by supporting it with evidence, data, and information. Narrative. This essay relates an incident as it happened. It is unlike fiction since its intention is the conveyance of idea, insight based on an event. Expository. This essay has the purpose of expounding and making something clear for the readers. Just like any other prose composition, essays can be organized in the following patterns or methods of organization. A. Chronological order. A chronological pattern of organization arranges information according to a progression of time, either forward or backward. When a topic is best understood in terms of different segments of time, a chronological format works well. For example, topics of an historical nature are best organized using this pattern. B. Order of importance. In this order, ideas or steps are prioritized by the writer or speaker according to a hierarchy of value. When using the order of importance pattern of organization, information can be structured from most important to least important or least important to most important. C. Sequential order. A sequential pattern of organization is similar to a chronological pattern but arranges information according to a step-by-step sequence that describes a particular process. When one wishes to describe a process that follows specific series of steps in a particular order, then a sequential pattern works well. For example, Suppose a writer's stated purpose is to explain how wine is made. D. Spatial order. A spatial pattern of organization arranges information according to how things fit together in physical space. Example, where one thing exists in relation to another. This pattern works well when a writer wishes to create a mental picture of something which has various parts distinguished by physical location. Topics involving geography, for example, are often best organized using a spatial pattern. E. Comparison and contrast order. A compare and contrast pattern arranges information according to how two or more things are similar to or different from one another or both. This is an effective pattern to use when the reader can better understand one subject when it is described in relation to another. If the reader is familiar with one topic, the writer can compare or contrast it with another topic to shed insight on it. For example, suppose a stated purpose is to help the reader make an informed decision about whether to attend a 2-year college or a 4-year university. Did you understand our lesson? Do you think after today's discussion, you can now write and critique a literary piece? Well, I hope so. This time, let's have a short quiz. Refer to page 7 of your module under Let's Practice. You will be given 3 minutes to finish the activity. Match the column A and B. Write your answers in your paper. Are you all set? Then, let's begin! Let's check if you got the correct answers. Well done, senior high learners! You may continue answering your modules on pages 7 to 19. Keep it up for our next lesson. I hope you will be able to create a meaningful essay after our thorough discussion. And that's the end of today's episode from Lantaw Compre, our TV school on air. See you again in our next session. This has been your teacher broadcaster, Sheena Marie L. Bautista saying, be a critical thinker always, to understand what is right and not, because in life, it is inevitable to receive criticism around us. So worry less, smile more, accept criticism, be quiet and listen. Embrace change and feel good anyway. Keep in mind, a life without criticism is not worth living.